Hello, Tampa Bay. This is Jim Knowles with you for an exciting Saturday afternoon on the radio in a lovely, beautiful Tampa Bay area. We'll be having 4 open hours, open forum, as long as you want to talk about how marvelous the president is, or how much you enjoy Social Security, or how bad the unions are. Any other topic, of course, I know nothing about and would only be making a fool of myself talking about, but nonetheless, bring them on. Come on, just having a little fun with you, right? Sure. But we will do 4 hours of Tim Coles bashing today, as well as we will be offering a $44 million prize. $44 million for the best Tim Coles imitation, of course, as judged by our judges in the other room. $44 million if you do the best Tim Coles imitation this afternoon. Like usual, on Saturday, anything goes from cookie chat to who knows what. Cookie chat, of course, is always one of my favorite topics. Chocolate chip cookies are nothing, thank you, but that's besides the point. I do have a recipe available for eating chocolate chip cookies. If anyone out there needs it, all you have to do is call and ask. We could, of course, take care of some unfinished business. A number of things transpired during the week that we didn't necessarily get a chance to finish with, like our conversation with Jacob yesterday. That was exciting. And let's see, what else? Well, we could, chat about what you're doing on Saturday listening to the radio. That's always exciting. And besides, what the hell, that's usually what it ends up being anyway.
Hello, host. Yes, well, I was just out in the backyard working on the tulips, and I thought I'd give you a call.
And, of course, what other things? We love taking testimony from new born-again Christians on Saturday about the miracles that have been worked in their lives. That's always exciting. And, gosh, beyond that, beats me. What to say about that, fella?
Leave Fowler out of this. The man has nothing to do with this, all right?
Boy, since he banned you, you're really testy.
Let him rest in peace. And what are you people doing talking about Tim Coles for?
Well, I'd offered a $44 million prize for the best Tim Coles impersonation, and no one has even tried. Well, I'd offered a $44 million prize for the best Tim Coles impersonation, and no one has even tried.
Rick Marin does a hell of a job.
Does he?
Sure does.
Well, he's in the business. He's not eligible.
He's a genius. He's a genius. And Tim Coles is a genius. The man's a fraud.
I would kill for the calls that I heard Marin with this morning as I was driving, and I would kill for those calls.
Really, am I missing something?
I don't know. Are you, Lionel?
Am I missing something? I mean, is there something inordinate
There are some people who are wondering about whether or not you are missing something on that issue, but that's neither here nor there.
More? Who, me?
Not only are you obviously shaken that Jacob has become the new regular caller.
Yeah, right.
But now you're even going to try to outdo him on, private part sizes.
What about yours, Bob? Let's talk about your dork, okay?
If it would make you happy, Lionel.
No, I want to talk about it. Yeah. I want you to get some verifiable, because you've talked about apparently there's this overt, totally inordinate concern over the size of one's schlong. And maybe I figured you just protest too much. So why don't you get you and...
Well, no, hold on. I had a question this very week, and I answered it.
I'll put $10,000, you versus Ted Webb.
Yeah, but it'll all be in quarters.
And listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'll say that Ted Webb will beat you hands down, and he's only got to pull out enough until he wins. What do you say about that, Bobby?
Lionel?
Since we're
I think you have raised a very interesting question, Lionel.
Maybe this is shock radio. Is this shock radio?
Lionel, you have raised a very, very interesting question.
Bob, what is that?
How would you know?
Who, Ted Webb? Or you?
How would you know about Mr. Webb's endowment?
Ted Webb?
Yes, and his endowment.
Where have you been?
What do you mean, where have I been?
He's got to carry around a wheelbarrow. Haven't you seen that platform on wheels he carries around? What do you think that was for? To count his money? Come on, the guy is incredible. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records.
He is.
And what about you, Bob? Or shall we call you Needle Schlong? Is that what we should call you, Bob?
Please, please.
Come on. A man of your size, a man of your girth, you Leviathan, you behemoth. It seems to me that there seems to be an inverse proportionality between one's girth and 1 schlong diameter.
Now, have you made a study of this?
Well, comparing you and Webb.
Maybe it's just guys like you and Webb, short little guys who are basically, average in size, but because of the rest of the anatomy being so miniature,
Get out.
gives
What do you
the
want?
impression
Testimonial?
of,
What do you
gives
want me to bring in?
gives the
Testimonial?
illusion.
You want me to
of,
bring in bimbos and chicks from here to Sandusky? Is that what you want me to do? Fine, I'll do it. You want affidavits? Listen.
I'll take 3 affidavits and 2 bimbos.
It's not the meat, it's the motion, Bob. That's what you should be saying. And I wish you'd lay off this guy, Jacob.
Oh, sure, because he's a better caller.
Before I forget. Oh, he's a putt.
Jacob's a better caller. Jacob's a better caller.
And you've got a big, whatever. I heard that yesterday. It was really childish. I'm telling Jacob right now, if you're listening, you little twit, if you want to try to knock the king of the hill off the mountain, I want to talk to you any place. I know, yawn, Bobby. You love this. You tell that idiot anytime, any place. I don't care. I've done it before. If he wants to come over and take over my turf, that's fine. Rocky, where's Rocky? Rocky's dead. Rocky's dead.
Right, Rocky's dead.
Everybody's dead.
Everybody has been superseded by Jacob, the new best caller.
They go. By the way, is the St. Pete Times article out yet?
I believe it's due out sometime this week.
Did you forget?
The Tampa Tribune should be out on Wednesday.
Oh, really? And did you forget again to name those of us who actually make you who, or what you actually are?
Nobody asked about you.
Know why? Because you don't have the guts to tell them.
What do you mean? These people, all of these people have listened to the program. Not one of them asked about you. They did ask about Rocky. They asked about Jacob.
That's horse crap. Bob Andelman knows about as much about radio as you do weight control. And he's writing an article about radio. And who are these little... Good. You're smoking it without the filters again, huh, Bob? Smoking's elegant. Who are these people who write these articles? Who are these people? Why don't we talk to the people who are the backbone of this crap rinky-dink thing you're doing under the rubric the guys are shock radio? You people make me sick.
Lionel, when was the last time you heard somebody call up a radio show and say, "Oh, is Lionel going to call in today? Is Lionel going to call in today? Lionel's our favorite caller. Oh, Lionel." We sit around the office and we wait for Lionel to call in. Then I was meeting somebody in the airport and he was talking about Lionel's... You never hear that. Now all you ever hear is, "Oh, is Jacob going to call today? Is Jacob going to call today?" I was at the airport and somebody was talking about Jacob. And...
Bob. Fine. Be that way. You've just done it.
What do you mean?
Sealed your own coffin, my friend.
Well, what's the problem here, Lionel?
Fine. Go ahead. Try to do this. Is this some fake attempt at trying to get me to be jealous of a guy with no dork, no schlong, no putz, no schmuck, no nothing?
But a great act.
He's a tremendous act.
Great act.
I gotta hand it to him. The guy knows what he's talking about. Well, that's fine. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get all my friends together, and we're gonna make Teddy Webb the new megastar.
All of your friends together in the phone booth?
He can put his money where his mouth is, if you know what I'm talking about.
Probably takes...
He can do it.
You no doubt have to have a friend to make a call. What, so you can climb up on his shoulders and reach the mouthpiece?
Oh, isn't that funny? Oh, aren't you funny, Bob? What, do you stay up late thinking of this? You're the only guy I know, other than mailmen and people who work at the Jiffy Lube, who's working on Saturday, sitting in a squeaky chair, making $10 a week as a nobody, and you're telling me that I should be jealous of you?
By the way, Lionel, there will also be an article this week in the Clearwater Sun, and he didn't ask about you either.
I hope they all rot in hell, because they don't even know their turf. Let me tell you something. If you ever, and I have said this before, and I've challenged you, and you've never taken me up on it. But now it's unfair because somebody was foolish enough to be duped into doing an article about you. But before you did this article, while you...
Somebody? What do you mean? I got all 3 major newspapers.
Oh, come on. You know why? Because they're spineless. One
44, 13... I have an invitation to be on Murphy's show.
44
I'm only missing
spot.
Channel 8.
That was a great spot, Bob. Oh, yeah, that was wonderful. You 1 minute being Mr. Vituperative, the next minute apologizing for what a prick you are. That's not. Come on. We saw
They didn't even
right
mention
through
the guys at PLP.
Well, no kidding.
There was poor
They didn't
Shanks on the air begging for calls. They
They
didn't even
didn't mention WW.
identify him.
Don't talk about
It
this.
was Mark
Shanks.
Brewer, boy wonder of broadcasting. They didn't even
about-
identify him.
Don't talk about Shanks. He's a tremendous guy, and he does a good show.
Looks
And
to me
you're
like he needs
making-
some vitamins. Didn't look well.
He's a lot more well than you are,
Emaciated,
Bobby.
a little bit thin.
Bobby, I'd hate to take a biopsy of your lung right now. I mean, the man is doing very well. Granted, he may be sans hair, but he's in much better health than you are. You know it, and I know it, so leave him alone. You want to pick on somebody? Pick on Coles. Pick on Fowler. Pick on Mr. Green with Envy. Pick on one of those guys. But leave Shanks alone. He's a nice guy.
Oh, yeah, he used to let you on the show.
He's a marvelous human being.
Oh, Jacob doesn't call
Who
him,
knows
so I
real
guess you're still a
talent.
big man over there on
Why?
the Shanks
You know
show.
why? Who, Jacob? The moron? I don't even want to talk about him. I just want you to do a poll one day. All you people who are out there listening, you've got the chance right now, as you're sitting there in your hovel with your light bulb hanging from a string, to decide which of the callers really make your day. And I'll tell you what, if more people vote for that little twit Jacob than me, fine, then he wins. And I'll go back to Encino and never come back again. But all I want to do is either we do that, or I want to get Jacob sometime like we did with the Lassiter group. Put his money where his mouth is. He's okay with you, Mr. Lassiter, Mr. Lassiter. That's a line of crap. That's the oldest setup in the world. We know is phony. Let him come on and do 20, 30 minutes like I can. Impromptu. Hey, you mother. Let me tell you something, Bob. I used to like you. And I'm really almost to the point where I'm starting to dislike you.
Whoa,
And you wouldn't want to see that happen, Bob.
What? You're going to dislike me because there's a better caller
You
than
wouldn't
Lionel?
want to. Oh, no. And Robert Van Amberg is a better talk show host than you.
Who?
Robert Van Amberg is better than
Robert
you.
Van Amberg. Where the hell does he work?
Norman is better than you. Ted
Dick
Webb
Norman is better than
you.
Ted
Tim
Webb?
Coles is better than you.
Who's
David
this guy,
Fowler's
Robert Van
better than you.
Ornberg, or whatever his name was?
Even Jack Wheeler is better than you. Now, don't you see how stupid it is to throw around things like that, Bob? I can do that, too. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I think Wheeler's doing a talk show on CB
Are
now.
you trying to say
Still can't get any
that
calls.
the callers who are listening to you would think-
me where Smokey is, huh?
Are you trying to say that the callers who are listening today would think that Jacob is better than me? Do you really think that that's stupid? Fine. You've just been insulted, everybody out there. You've just been insulted by Mr. Big King of the Hill, who thinks he's something special. God's gift to talk radio. You're not going to be around here forever, Bobby.
I think Wheeler's working on Channel
You're
19
gonna
now.
come, you're gonna go. You're a dime a dozen. And all you're doing right now is you're trying to figure out how far you can push this entire community. And when you dare trounce upon the God, the number one caller today.
Hey, I haven't been beaten up on Peggy.
Peggy, I'm not going to ever... Peggy, I love Peggy. Peggy and I had an affair in 1948. That's another story. And I would never say anything wrong. And she even called up a couple of weeks ago when even she admitted it. Now, Bob, I don't have all day. After all, it might start to rain. You know what happens when it rains? There's accidents, people get hurt, things like that. But I'm telling you right now, you can't push us around anymore, Bobby, okay? You're going to be back to Miami, back to doing country and western and Muzak, or whatever the hell you used to do before you came here. Because we're not going to be pushed
what's
around by some Buddha-like absolute Boeotian who thinks he knows what he's doing.
Lionel, the news department just came in and handed me a piece of paper. There is a 3-car collision on the interstate.
Oh, I know all about it.
Just past the Ashley ramp.
I know all about it.
Oh, you've already been there.
I've got cervical collars that I throw out with my name on it. Don't give me that, you jealous hunk of human jello. Don't give me that.
Jealous? Me jealous? Hey, I'm hot, man. I am hot.
Oh, you're hot. You're hot. You're real hot.
You know why I'm hot, Lionel?
You're to
do you know?
radio
Do you know
what
why
Sonny
all of a
Tufts was
sudden?
to television.
Do you know why all of a sudden the Clearwater Sun, the Tampa Tribune, the St. Petersburg Times, Tampa Bay Weekly, Reporter
Tampa
Magazine,
Bay
Channel
Weekly.
13,
Whoa,
and
now-
Channel
now
44 have
you
all
said something.
interviewed me in the
Now.
past 3 weeks? Do you know why, Lionel?
Yes, I do.
And do you know why they didn't interview me prior to that?
Yes, I do.
I'll tell you, Lionel. It's
Payola.
because now I've got
Payola.
Jacob. When all I had was
Oh,
you, nobody
my
was interested
ass.
in doing an article on me. But
That
now that
does
I've
it.
got Jacob,
That
baby,
does it.
that makes
That
me
does it.
really hot.
I declare war on you, Robert Lassiter. I declare war on you now. I'm going to make your life a living hell starting now.
What are you going to do, call every day?
Just watch me, Bobby.
I got Jacob, man. I got Jacob. I'm not, I'm not afraid of you. I got
don't
Jacob.
blame you. I don't blame you, Bob. Stand behind Jacob.
You're old news,
You've
man. You're
done it.
yesterday's big caller.
You're right. No, you're absolutely right, Bob.
I mean,
It's
have you
about
heard
time
all the young
somebody
women
teach
calling the
you-
show saying, "Oh, is Jacob going to call in
Somebody
today?"
teach you a lesson, Bob. Don't forget what we did to Alan Berg. It can happen to you, Bob.
Alan
Okay.
Burke.
Oh, yeah. Pretend, play ignorant. It happened to him. It can happen to you. Remember that. It's a very frightening world out here, Bob.
Say goodbye, Lionel.
Oh, did I hit a nerve?
No, I've got 4 minutes of commercials and only
Okay, go do your commercial.
6 minutes left.
Make it $12
This
a
hour.
day. We've declared war today. A day that will live in infamy.
Well, Lionel, I'll tell you what. I'll give you a break. For old time's sake, anytime that Jacob isn't on the show, if I seem to be hurting, you can call in.
Oh, thanks a lot.
It's okay, Lionel.
I appreciate it.
It's all right, baby.
War, baby.
Bye, Lionel.
War.
Well, all kinds of stuff. Well, first of all, I went to the 5 different stores today. I couldn't find no pretzels. They're all sold out.
Oh, wow. You're kidding me.
And you think that's bad. Then I couldn't find any ice cream. All I could find was iced milk. Is that
Whoa.
Can I use that, Bob?
No, the butterfat content is just not right.
There's the Drop Off City song.
Yeah. Drop-off city song. I hadn't thought of it that way before. The
D-Bob,
drop-off city players.
will you call in this week from Iowa and say hi to us? Since we're all going to have withdrawals.
I'll try. I mean, I'll probably be out there in Iowa having a good time, and, maybe I will.
Well, gee, Bob, it was nice talking to you.
Hey, great talking to you, Charlie. Let's do it again sometime.
Okay.
Bye, Charlie.
Bye.
Poor Charlie. It's almost as upset as Lionel. One more hour, just washed
You
up.
should go back to the
Been
Holy
superseded by
Colorado.
Jacob. He's okay for the Cole show. The old timers, they still get a kick out of it.
Right, he wasn't
Lionel.
born. He was hatched.
Yeah.
Well, my first vote goes for Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob's where it's at. Jacob is hot now.
Right.
Jacob's really hot.
The reason that I'm calling, he kind of sidetracked at me there for a moment, but the reason I'm calling is earlier I fell into your category of subhuman pig.
Oh, no.
Yes, I did, but it was such...
You'll probably want to buy one of the T-shirts then.
No,
No,
I didn't
God.
mean to insult you, really. That's why I'm calling back. I called back twice, as a matter of fact.
Uh-huh.
I called to request that you say happy birthday to my daughter Suzette because she listens to you every Saturday when we're sitting around. She makes her comments. And the girl said she would get a message to you, and however, I'm sure that it didn't get to you. And that's why I wasn't on the line. I'm Marie from St. Petersburg. You said you wanted to blast me, and I didn't want to fall into that category.
Well, happy birthday, Suzette.
Okay, but stick in there, and I'm sure that Jacob will be your next star.
One vote for Jacob. Okay, thanks, Marie.
Okay, and thanks a lot.
You're quite welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, I tell you, Jacob, he's hot. That's where it's at now. Bubbles in Largo. Hi there, Bubbles. You're on the air at WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi,
I just
Bubbles.
wanted to tell you that I have had an affair with Lionel.
You have had an affair with Lionel.
Yes, and he is the most boring person.
Oh.
I would like to get it on with Jacob, though.
Was Lionel telling the truth about his, endowment?
Oh, Bob, he has got the smallest little dinghy I've ever seen.
Doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, especially that high voice. He's got that high-pitched voice.
He needs tweezers.
I used to be a big star in radio, you know.
Toilet in the morning.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me at all, Bubbles.
I couldn't even get a handful.
But Jacob, he sounds like a real man.
I'd like to meet Jacob.
Well, every girl in town would, apparently.
Do you think Jacob could call? I mean, I might be able to leave my number and he could call me.
Well, I'm afraid, Jacob never calls on Saturday. He's probably got a job as a bag boy down at, Publix or something.
Publix?
Yeah.
You think he would work?
Well, he probably has to.
Well, okay. Well, that's fine by me. Just, I'll call for...
Or maybe he's down at church, practicing for the services on Sunday.
I thought he worked for the NFD.
No, Jacob's not with them.
Oh, he just supports them.
No, Jacob is above the NFD.
Oh.
Jacob thinks that the NFD is, a little funky.
Oh, okay, I see.
They're not militant enough for Jacob.
Oh.
And besides, they don't have any cute girls.
That's right.
Just those old ladies in tennis shoes.
Okay.
And they all have sore feet from walking around out in front of, Hungry Howie's or whoever it is they're picketing this month. Starvin' Marvin, that's right, Starvin' Marvin.
Okay.
But, hey, if Jacob gets in touch, I'll let him know that you're interested, too. So far, it just doesn't seem to be working out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Bubbles, thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, his office is directly across the street from a garage that the EMS works out of. And it's very convenient for him to follow the ambulances.
Oh, I see. Well, Bob, I just want to tell you I support your show, and you make it through the work week for me.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Steve.
And take care, and you have a good vacation up there in Iowa.
Well, I'll do my best.
All righty.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
It would be worth your while to call back, okay? Get my drift? Mark in North Tampa, tape recorder, you might want to get it going. We're setting up a classic here. Jacob in Clearwater. Jakey, baby, how you doing today?
You're a disgrace to humanity, Mr. Lassiter.
Well, thank you, Jacob.
This show is not amusing. I am not amused in the least.
Why not, Jake?
Because I do not enjoy being ridiculed like this, Mr. Lassiter.
What do you mean, well, Jacob, haven't you been listening? Everybody's voting for you, man. Everybody's saying Jacob is where it's at. Lionel's old hat.
Voting for what? You're making fun of me, Mr. Lassiter.
I am not making fun of you. I mean, Lionel took some cheap shots at you, but Lionel, you've got to understand. You see, Jacob, before you came on the scene, Lionel used to be the top caller in the market. But you've come on now and just totally, completely superseded Lionel. Everybody loves your calls, Jacob.
Lionel is guilty of stupidity, and the verdict is ignorance.
Whoa, Lionel, what do you have to say about that?
Go to hell, you miserable piece of human trash! How dare you tell me that? You penis envy little twit? Who are you? Who in the hell are you? You miserable piece of human slime. You pond scum. You sound like a robot. You sound like Sam the Super Telephone Barnett.
Satan, you
I hate your guts.
Whoa, hold on there. Lionel, mellow out.
Ignoramus, shut up. I've had it with you.
What are you going to do about it? Queer bait?
Oh.
Huh?
How dare you, sir?
What are you going to do about it? You want to be big man on campus? Prove it. Use your brains, needle dick.
You are
Let's hear it.
in ignoramus.
You said ignoramus twice.
That would take a name of
What do you have, a list? You've got a list of submental words you use?
Brain,
You ignorant Boeotian? You Icona? You chuff? You idiot!
Lionel.
Dictionary, you toy.
Lionel.
What do you put me on the phone with this twit for, Bob?
Lionel.
He's a moron.
Lionel, mellow out. Just a second here. Let's see if we can't get some kind of a discussion. Jacob, did Lionel, mellow. Jacob, did I hear you say something concerning Satan and Lionel in the same sentence?
He is the spawn of Satan, this ignoramus.
I am Satan. I am Beelzebub.
Oh,
I am the Prince of Darkness.
Whoa.
You miserable piece of donkey dung. You're a piece of crap. You're meaningless. You're going to last 2 weeks. Needle dick. I am the king of this and I am everything you've ever feared in your life. I am the dark side of humanity. I am the dark side of humanity, and I'm going to give you impotence. You are now impotent.
Gentlemen, calm down here. Lionel, let me ask you to hold for just a sec. Hold it down for just a second, and I want to ask both of you some questions. Jacob.
Yes.
What do you really think of Lionel?
I think he is the spawn of Satan. Anyone that would take the nemesis of a toy train must have a toy mind. He represents himself as an attorney. He is not an attorney. He is not an attorney. He is an ignoramus.
He's an ignoramus.
Yes,
he is.
Number 4, Jacob.
Lionel.
What?
Why do you think it is that Jacob has such strong feelings against you?
Because he's jealous. Satan.
What do you think he's jealous of, Lionel?
There's no such thing as Satan.
Lionel,
you miserable little twit.
Lionel, what do you think Jacob is jealous of?
My intelligence.
Your intelligence. Jacob,
my mastery of the English language. The fact that I can get to a sentence without saying ignoramus 4 times.
Okay. Lionel.
Of Satan, you must accept the Lord Jesus Christ into your life, Mr. Lionel.
Oh, get off it. Get off it. Jesus Christ. That's what I say to you. Jesus Christ, get a new act. Satan, what did
Jacob,
you think for yourself, you miserable port dumb?
Jacob, do you think that if Lionel were to come to the Lord, it would help him?
Yes, I do.
How do you think it would help him?
Hold your breath, twit. Hold your breath. I am Satan. Don't you understand that?
Terrible.
Don't you understand what I've been doing here?
I put up with the
I am Beelzebub. I am the Prince of Darkness. I am Lucifer.
You are an
actual impotence. You less than male piece of pond scum. You're lower than life. And if I ever run into you, meet you, or see you, I will invade your soul and forever cast you into darkness with the rest of the lowlife that you represent. You ignorant
Lionel, before you go any further, I thought, Lionel, that maybe you would like to know that the reason Jacob was calling this afternoon is that he was involved in a minor fender bender this morning, and he was looking for an attorney.
I hope he's irreparably damaged. I hope his spinal column is crushed, and I hope he never can get an erection again for the rest of his life, because I hate him.
You kike. You're a kike and a Jew. You money-grubbing lawyer. You're all the same.
Oh, listen to this.
Hold on there a second, Lionel. Jacob, you accused Lionel of being a kike?
Yes.
So was Jesus Christ, buddy. Your Lord and Savior.
Well, Lionel, at this point,
you're a murdering Jew, you kike.
At this point, Lionel,
isn't this what? All right, all you little nubile women out there who found this man to be exciting. Not only is he adult, not only is he a dullard, he's an anti-Semite and an ignorant one at that, and he's an idiot. This is what you are going to do, Bob, to replace me?
Well, Lionel, hold on a second. Let me put you on hold and let me pursue this for just a second with Jacob. Jacob, there's a very serious charge here. You seem to have gotten...
He is leveling similar charges at me, Mr. Lassiter. He has gotten me very, very mad, Mr. Lassiter. I do not appreciate this.
Do you have a problem with Jews, Jacob?
With him, yes.
Well, Jews in general.
With him, yes.
It's a very peculiar thing. That's a very derogatory racial remark, Jacob.
Mr. Lassiter, he got me very upset by calling me those names. I have listened to this verbal vomit long enough.
What do you mean by that?
He has said... The things he has said to me, I cannot believe that you would allow such things, Mr. Lassiter.
Well, Jacob...
I thought better of you. I might not agree with you, but I thought you had enough sense not to put an ignorant fool like that on.
Well, Jacob, I put many ignorant fools on, but he's upset, you see. You've become such a popular caller that he's upset. Can't you find any Christian compassion in your heart for having having dethroned Lionel.
I don't understand what you're talking about, Mr. Lassiter.
Well, you've become a very popular caller, Jacob, as you well are aware of. And you see, Lionel used to be a very popular caller, and
I am aware of the ridicule that you and your callers heap upon me.
ridicule, Jacob?
Yes.
What kind of ridicule have I heaped upon you?
I have heard you today.
I've tried very, very hard to get you thing. I mean, I've really tried, Jacob, to
I told you I have a girlfriend.
expand your horizons.
I do not need you for a dating service, Mr. Lassiter.
But why do you keep using me for one?
I do not call to discuss dating.
What would you like to discuss, Jacob?
I was calling today to rebut this vicious criticism and ridicule that I've been receiving all day.
Well, Jacob, people were saying kind things about you. They were saying how much they enjoyed your phone calls.
The intonation in their voice was.
And then there was
kind.
Bubbles. By the way, Bubbles did leave her phone number. Would you like her phone number, Jacob?
She is nothing but a common thief and whore.
Well, perhaps, Jacob, you could work on reclaiming her.
I do not need her to be spreading her VD this way.
Her VD? Jacob, that's a very broad charge.
Well, apply it.
Apply it? I don't quite understand, Jacob.
That woman had nothing but evil in her, nothing but evil intentions.
Oh, well, don't you think you could convert her, Jacob?
I would certainly try.
Would you like her phone number?
No, I would not.
Well, you don't accept the challenge, Jacob?
No, I do not.
Well, I thought one of the tenets of your belief was that you should convert other people, other sinners.
It is, but I do not wish to confront this woman. I want nothing to do with her.
What kind of a girl could we get for you, Jacob?
I do not want a girl, Mr. Lassiter. I told you I have a girlfriend.
Yeah, but you didn't take your girlfriend on your vacation with you. You never seem to have her around, in the afternoon. I mean, when do you see your girlfriend, Jacob?
I have her around right now.
Your girlfriend is there right now?
Yes, she is, Mr. Lassiter.
Would you put her on the phone?
Let me see if she will. Can you place me on hold?
Can I place you on hold? Sure, I'll put you on hold. Just a second. There goes Jacob on hold. We'll go back momentarily to Lionel. Lionel, are you still there?
It's about time, Bob.
Well, Lionel, as you can hear, we're really about
10
to
minutes
score.
of this.
We are
Mr.
really about to score
Lassiter.
big with Jacob's girlfriend.
Mr. Lassiter, Bubbles got VD. He's so full of crap it should hurt. This is the guy who's trying to supplant me? This is the guy, Mr. Lassiter. He sounds like the guy at the bonnet, the teller machine. He's a robot. He's an automaton. Anti-Semite? I can't believe this. He calls me a kike and a Jew? Are you hearing that, everybody out there? Your hero, your star, an anti-Semite? What do you think about that, Bob? Huh?
Well,
This is the guy you want to put on? The guy who talks about
he's a
Jesus
great
and he hates
caller.
Jews?
But he's a great caller, Lionel. You have to admit that.
Yeah, that's right. And horse manure is one of the finest forms of manure there is. That's true. In terms of all of this in the scheme of things, he is fine. He's emblematic of some type of a degree of greatness, I guess, in your own twisted mind. But I want you to respond to him calling me a kike. What about all the other kikes out there? You listening to this? What is this, Nazi Germany again? And you know who's spreading this? You know who's promulgating this? Who's disseminating these words of hate? You, Bob. You're doing it.
No.
Oh,
Lionel.
you've got an edit button there, my friend.
Yes, I do, and I've used it.
And what you're doing
used
is
it twice on you so far.
Imagine a little kid of impressionable years who respects you, who reads the Clearwater Sun, and other rags like that, who hears you and says, yes, this is the voice of reason. This is the voice of intelligence.
Lionel.
Who lets you put this guy on and indict people for being a kike?
Lionel, hold tight again. We're going to go back and see if Jacob's girlfriend is on the line. Jacob?
Yes?
Your girlfriend, is she there?
Yes?
Will she speak with us?
Briefly, Mr. Lassiter.
Oh, okay.
And I caution you, are you going to be abusive?
Abusive? I'm never abusive.
Okay, Mr. Lassiter.
Hello?
Hello, you are Jacob's girlfriend.
Yes, I am.
Would you care to give us your first name?
My name's Irma.
Irma.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you and Jacob been seeing each other, Irma?
Well, I think, honey, it's been 3 years now. Yeah, 3 years.
3 years in a celibate relationship. Has Jacob asked you to marry him?
Well, yes, he has.
When is the date?
Well, as soon as I get through my Christian training, which ought to be in about another year, we plan to tie the knot.
Would it be possible for you and Jacob to tie the knot on this program?
Oh, Mr. Lassiter, I don't think that our wedding would be of much interest to your viewers.
Oh, I think it would. Let me ask you this, Irma. Jacob has become very, very popular with the girls in the Tampa Bay area. How do you feel about that?
Well, Mr. Lassiter, I think that's wonderful because he is a wonderful man. And his wonderful works in Christianity.
Has he ever tried to get fresh with you?
Oh, of course not. He's very moral.
You know, he's never tried roaming hands or anything like that?
Certainly not. He's a very gentle man. He's a very respectful man. That's why I love him so.
Are you sure about his ability to be, how can I delicately phrase this, a complete husband?
A complete husband?
Yes.
He has all working parts, Mr. Lassiter.
He does?
Well, yes.
You've checked this out for yourself?
Well, no, I cannot say I've seen it myself, but I take his word for it.
But he told us that he's never tried to work the parts.
Well, then that's his business.
Well, it's a very important part of marriage, wouldn't you agree, Irma?
That's one part of marriage, yes.
But it's a very important part of marriage.
Well, I feel that our belief in God and our works with Jesus Christ are the most important parts of our marriage.
I mean, aren't you a little bit concerned about, a relationship with a man going on for 3 years where he never at any point tried to take advantage of you?
No, that just makes my love and respect for him even more, Mr. Lassiter.
Will you be offering to Jacob the same thing that he can offer to you? I of course, refer to virginity.
Well, of course, Mr. Lassiter.
And, Irma, may I inquire as to how old you are? Do you and Jacob plan on any little Jacobs?
Well, not right away. I think we're going to be doing some missionary work. And as soon as we get done with our world travels, we plan to settle down near my family in Virginia and start our family then.
In Virginia? You and Jacob will be leaving the market?
Well, yes, as soon as my Christian training is complete.
You know, I've only got another year of Jacob?
Pardon me?
I only have one more year of Jacob, and then he's gone?
Well, I don't know, sir. The future's in the hands of the Lord.
Do you normally listen to the program too, Irma?
No, I don't. I have to admit I do not. It upsets Jacob so much, and he calls, and I don't listen because he gets so upset. I just need to soothe him after his calls.
You are aware of the fact that Jacob has spent probably close to an hour on 2 or 3 different occasions talking to young women who were trying to, how can I phrase this for you? Trying to talk Jacob into going to bed with them. And he spent an hour talking with at least a dozen different women.
Well, I'm certain he was trying to have the light of the Lord enter their lives so they could change their morals and their unholy ways.
Are you also aware of the fact that on more than one occasion, Jacob has discussed the size of his private parts, his naughty parts on this radio station?
Oh, I find that very hard to believe, Mr. Lassiter. Jacob is not that kind of man.
It is true. At one time, he boasted of being, as large as a salami.
Mr. Lassiter, please.
It's true, Irma.
Well, all I can say is Jacob is my man.
Mr. Lassiter.
Yes, Jacob.
Now, there you go. Now, I had asked you in good faith not to do that.
Not to do what?
You had started discussing things that should not be discussed.
I was asking your fiancée, Jacob, if she objected to the fact that you have partaken in calls like this.
No, Mr. Lassiter, you started getting bawdy and lascivious.
I was not getting bawdy and lascivious with your true love. Jacob?
I felt that you were, Mr. Lassiter.
Jacob, the entire Bay Area wants to know. Can I ask you a question, Jacob?
Yes, Mr. Lassiter.
Is Irma built?
Mr. Lassiter, that is a private matter for us.
Well, Jacob, you have shared so many details of the intimate part of your life with the audience, and I was just wondering, is Irma, built where it counts? Is she built upstairs, as an example?
She has the Lord Jesus Christ, if that's what you mean.
No, I was referring to the size of her breasts.
Mr. Lassiter.
And does she have a nice set or not?
I'm not answering that, Mr. Lassiter. That is bawdy and lascivious.
Well, does she or doesn't she have a good set?
I'm not answering that, Mr. Lassiter. Do you hear me?
Well, let me put it to you this way, Jacob. Let me see if I can't clean this up a little bit for you. Was the Lord kind to Irma when he was distributing her mammaries?
Yes, Mr. Lassiter.
So she is built. Does she have nice legs, Jacob?
Mr. Lassiter.
Well, okay, let me phrase it properly then again. Was the Lord kind to Irma when he was designing her tush?
Mr. Lassiter, I'm not answering these questions. You're trying to lead me into something, and then you're going to make bawdy and lascivious comments.
So you've been going out with Irma now for 3 years.
Yes, Mr.
She tells me that you have never tried to get fresh with her.
That is correct.
Do you French kiss?
Mr. Lassiter, that is my private business.
So you do French kiss. Jacob, you old rascal, you. Do you suppose that you and Irma will, be involved in oral copulation?
No, Mr. Lassiter, that is an immoral act, illegal in the eyes of the Lord.
Well, suppose... let's see, in the gutter they'd say go down on. Suppose Irma wished to, go down on you. Well, then...
And she got problems with that. See, what I'm trying to say is people get out of...
Because I find them to be disgusting.
What do you find disgusting about them?
The way they talk, that kind of thing should not go over the airwaves.
Well, Jacob, I suppose that you and Irma, when you are properly married, had some difficulties in the bedroom. How would you deal with this?
I do not anticipate such, nor do I wish to publicly discuss.
Well, Jacob, if you and Irma, Lord forbid, of course, were having difficulties, what would you do about it?
We would seek counseling with a Christian organization.
Well, why not, go for free to Dr. Ruth?
Because of her tawdry manner.
Her tawdry... Oh, so you have listened to Dr. Ruth?
I have heard of her, Mr. Lassiter.
And what seems to be the problem with Dr. Ruth?
It's the way she graphically discusses things that should not be discussed on public airwaves.
Well, you discuss all kinds of things on public airwaves, Jacob. You've already told us, that Irma's got big boobs.
I never said any such words, Mr. Lassiter.
You told us, Jacob, that the Lord had been good to Irma in that department.
Those were your words, Mr. Lassiter.
And you said yes.
That is correct.
So Irma's got big boobs. Are you concerned that Irma will be disappointed in your endowment?
Mr. Lassiter, the union in marriage, the union in a Christian marriage is not concerned with such things. Are you not aware of this? What is your marriage based on, Mr. Lassiter? Lust?
Yes. Yes, it's all lust.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself. That's a disgrace.
Well, what's disgraceful about it, Jacob?
Lust should not be the basis for any holy matrimony.
Have you ever seen Mary, Jacob?
Who?
Mary, my wife.
No, I have not.
Well, you'd understand if you had.
I am not so sure you are married, Mr. Lassiter.
I am, too.
I've said it repeatedly, and I still maintain that you are.
I was tapping my wedding ring on the microphone for you.
What?
I was just tapping my wedding ring on the microphone for you.
Well, I still maintain that you are a homosexual.
Do you often think about my sexual preference, Jacob?
Certainly not.
Do you and Irma talk about it much?
Certainly not.
Do you tell Irma about the phone calls that you make to the station?
Occasionally.
Have you told her about all the girls that you talked with on here?
I do not consider them girls, Mr. Lassiter. They are whores.
why did you spend so much time talking with them?
Because you were trying to make fun of me. And I wanted to make a point.
Well, Jacob, I want to thank you and Irma for being part of the show today.
Coming from you, is that sincere?
Of course it's sincere, Jacob. We enjoy your phone calls very, very much.
Well, my intent is not for enjoyment.
Perhaps you'll have Irma there the next time you call in?
No, I don't think so, Mr. Lassiter, because I asked you not to be lewd and lascivious, and you, not immediately, but eventually, you began getting into lewd and lascivious subjects.
Well, first of all, would you thank Irma very, very much for talking with us this afternoon? And secondly, would you extend to Irma my personal invitation for her to call in any time she'd like to?
She will not be calling you, Mr. Lassiter.
Well, nonetheless, would you kindly extend that invitation? It's up to her as to, I assume it's up to her as to whether or not she would like to take part in it, but I would like her to know that all of us here at WFLA would enjoy very much hearing from her in the future, if she so desires. Would you do that for me, Jake?
Yes, I shall, Mr. Lassiter.
Thank you, Jake. Appreciate it. Take care, Jake.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. How can you possibly top that, Lionel?
God, Bob.
That's great radio, Lionel. That's great radio.
I wanted to talk to Firma Irma and her missionary work. I wanted to talk to Mr. Queerbait there, who was as queer as a $3 bill, and this bimbo with the big knockers that he supposedly hasn't seen his schlong yet, and it won't go down on him, and won't swallow, and if you believe that, yeah, as crazy as they are. And this guy is supposed to supplant me? Is that it, Bob?
Well, Lionel, you've got to admit,
Is that it?
You've got to admit, Lionel, that it's definitely a good act. It is far superior than calling people Boeotians.
It's a tremendous act. Oh, I know. God forbid we should be literate in this world. You're right. He appeals to the masses. He appeals to the brain damaged. He appeals to the people with parts of their cortex ripped out through lawnmower accidents. That's true. He does appeal to a certain stratum of society. But what I want to talk about is how this Mr. Christian, Mr. Jesus Christ, could sit back and use words like kike,
very disappointing,
and Jew,
very
and stuff
disappointing.
Like that.
Yes,
the stuff that Hitler used to use, because he goes to show you he is endemic, he is emblematic of the hypocrite. These people are hypocrites. They're quick to point out Jesus did this and Jesus did that, and oh, you're being lewd.
Well, let me point out to you, Lionel, that while obviously all people of good taste and good moral character are appalled at Jacob's getting down into the gutter and using racial epitaphs as
no,
slurs.
Not epitaph,
yes,
epithet.
Yes, excuse me, thank you.
I know. Boeotian, you know.
Right, Boeotian, right. I'm sometimes a Boeotian. It might also be fairly pointed out, Lionel, that you were using derogatory terms against another minority in rebutting Jacob.
What minority?
Homosexuals.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody who doesn't
and it
have
might also
guts,
be it might also be pointed out
homosexual.
It might also be pointed out that Mr. Hitler was equally as opposed to homosexuals as he was to Jews.
There's nothing against being a homosexual. If you're being a homosexual, fine, admit it. Have the guts to say it.
But you are accusing Jacob in a derogatory manner using the most basic gutter language.
He's a liar. He's a homosexual. He is a queer, whatever you want to call it. I've got nothing against them, but don't lie. Don't say you're not. Don't denounce or fail to admit what you are. Have the guts. I would say be a man, but that doesn't make any sense for somebody who's been going out with a bimbo for 3 years and hasn't seen a knockers yet. Can you believe that? 3 years?
Well,
they haven't even touched?
Well, he didn't say he hadn't seen them. He said he hadn't touched them.
He's seen the outline of them. And she wants to do missionary work. Oh, Firma Irma over there wants to do missionary work. What a bunch of crap. Fine, Bob.
Bye, Lionel.
How long can these people put up? I appreciate the chance to call back, though. You do got a little class. You got a little class.
A little.
Not too much. And a little dingy, too, like that other woman said. You did show it to me, though, that day. Remember that? When you put it on the Xerox machine, remember that?
It's only because you begged, Lionel. Only because you begged. The money came from where? The Iranian treasury, right? And who's running Iran?
I don't know.
The Ayatollah Khomeini. Everybody knows.
I don't have inside information, Mr.
Well,
Lassiter.
everybody knows, Jacob.
Everybody knows?
Right. Did you get any when you were in Sanibel, Jacob?
Excuse me?
Did you get any when you were in Sanibel?
Get any what? Shells? Yes?
No, not shells, Jacob. You know, any girls?
No, Mr.
Any
Lassiter.
sex?